going on, YouTube gang? It's Melo DFS coming to you live and direct. Here to give you my favorite plays for DraftKings and FanDuel for today. We get that 2-game main slate, and I'm gonna give you some value spots as well. Hope everybody's having an amazing day. Feel free to like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. Press that bell icon to always stay notified for new videos. Let's get right into it, y'all. Going with the point guard spot. Gotta consider Lowry in this play against Boston. Now he's 9,200 on FanDuel, but he is 82 on DraftKings. Still a great play, as you can see. Just the consistency, man. 53 in the last two. This is FanDuel scoring, by the way, but still 46, 34 in the last 4 games against Boston. As you can see, also he's projected to get around a 45.6 projection with a 1.1 fantasy points per minute on the court, y'all. Something to consider, as he's getting minimum 40 minutes. You know, he has to be on that court to help with this team to get this W. So I like this play. 23% usage a game. Lowry is my play. Now, you want to go for a saving spot, you could go with Lou Williams, as he had 29 minutes last game with 30 fantasy points against Denver. This is a slow-paced game for Clippers. Just keep that in mind. You know, he had 101.5 and Denver's 97.7 in pace. So something to consider here, as 5,100 to me is a great price tag on FanDuel. And he just need to give around 25 projection. But I can see him giving you that 30 once again, but still a valuable spot if you need some savings here on FanDuel. On DraftKings, 5,800, still a valuable spot in my opinion, but something to consider on both platforms. Let's go to our next play, going to our shooting guards here. Now, shooting guards, we got Paul George. Now, coming out that slump, you know, he came out with that 41 minutes. He had 44 fantasy points in this game. Looking at a 38.8 fantasy point projection for today. He's 7,800 on FanDuel, 83 on DraftKings. To me, is more of a FanDuel play for me. 83, I feel like I could pay down at this price tag on DraftKings, but FanDuel, something to consider here. He got 25% usage last game. He's averaging around 1.2 fantasy points per minute on the court. Chance to hit 5 times value is 51% in chance, but I like this play for Paul George, especially on FanDuel at 7,800, knowing he needs to give you around 35. His floor is around 35, but he could give you that 40 once again. So more so a cash play on DraftKings, but get value here on FanDuel. Another play you can also consider here is Marcus Smart. Now on FanDuel, 5,700, something to consider at this price tag. As you can see, 26 in the last 2 games, 25, even a 32 in the last 4 against Toronto. So something to consider. Now he's 65 on DraftKings, and which is more of a cash play as well. So something to consider if you need price down, if you want to pay down for Marcus Smart other than Paul George. In this play for shooting guard, something to consider for Marcus Smart here at this play for today. Of course, we have Fred VanVleet. Both platforms is a great play. 7,900 helping out with Lowry, even 78 on DraftKings, 37.2 projection play. I'm more likely to go to a Fred VanVleet than a Paul George on DraftKings, because he's just real consistent. 35, 33, 39, 45, 32 in the last 5 games against Boston. So it's a great play in my opinion on both platforms for Fred VanVleet, averaging around 22% usage a game. All right, so let's go to our next play, going to our small forwards. Now, small forward side, I like Jeremy Grant, finally getting out of that rut. He had 40 minutes though, but 31 fantasy points. Now, like I said, this is more of a fast-paced game for Denver. Now, we also got to consider if Jokic will be out. He is questionable, so of course it gives a bump for Jeremy Grant in this play. So something to consider here. 23.2 projection play, but 5,200 on DraftKings and 5K on FanDuel is a viable spot in my opinion. Something to consider. Of course, you got OG Anunoby, as he's 6K, so you might want to. I think he's a great play more so on DraftKings at 57. As you know, he had a dud last game, but as you can see, he's been hitting value in the last 4. He had 40, 30, 25. So even though he had a dud in 22 fantasy points last game, it's not going to deter me from not playing him. So he definitely is a viable play for this series. So at 5,700 on DraftKings, I like OG, but of course cash play on FanDuel at 6K. By going to our power forwards, and power forwards, I definitely like Michael Porter. Now, just 5K on both platforms. This guy, like I said, well, if Jokic is out, he's a viable spot here. You know, 5K on both platforms, looking at 23.7 projection. He only had 16 minutes last game and had 25 fantasy points, so that's a great thing to see. You know, looking at him, he has a 1.1 fantasy points per minute average, so something to consider for Michael Porter. To me, he's more valuable than a Paul Millsap. He did finally get out of his rut. He had 21, 36 in the last 2 games, but he gets minutes. But if Porter gets more minutes, to me, is more of an upside for Michael Porter here in this play for today. Of course, you got Daniel Theis, as he's in a good play. He's 56 on FanDuel, 54 on DraftKings, which he's also a valuable play. 23 on both last 2 games, 29, 38, 31. So it shows he has a 30 fantasy point upside here. So at this price tag, he's viable on both platforms for today. All right, let's go into the center position. Like I said, we have Nikola Jokic as he's 9,400 on FanDuel, 97 on DraftKings, as he's battling that right wrist sprain. Now, like I said, he's questionable to where if he's out, you got to look into some savings where you can go to like a Mason Plumlee. He's 3,700 on FanDuel. He's 33 on DraftKings. He did have a 27 fantasy point game previously in 13 minutes. So something to consider as he's bare minimum, but as you can see, he can give it an 8 to 9 times value here. So going against the Clippers, Mason Plumlee is a viable play if he's out. You got Robert Williams, also a great play. He's 4K on FanDuel, but he's 38 on DraftKings, in which he had 17.5 fantasy points in the last 2 games, in which he's something to consider here, even on DraftKings at this price tag at 3,800. And of course, you got Zubac, in which I like this play more so for Zubac other than Harrell, because just the fact that he gets the minutes. He had 20, 24, 33 minutes in the last 3 games, and he's paying on his price tag. So if he give you that 24.6 projection, if he give you that 25, even 30 fantasy point game, especially if Jokic is out, he has an advantage in the front court. So Zubac to me is also a viable spot here, but those are my values for center if Jokic is out. And of course, overall, if he's out, it bumps usage for Gary Harris, Jeremy Grant, definitely Jamal Murray. So at his price tag, something to consider on point guard. But if we get any more news, check out my video. I will have a pinned comment of any updates for today, and also on my Twitter I also retweet any type of updates. So check out my Twitter and my link in the description. You have draft dashboard tools. As you can see, it's real hands-on. So 24/7 live data is only $1 up to 30 days, which is a great deal. Check it out. Once you sign up, you got NBA cheat sheet, your sleepers, your studs. Click on the watch players, you get access to your player pool, and you'll see watch Melo DFS picks button up top for either DraftKings and FanDuel. MLB, NHL, NBA, NFL is this week is crazy, and I'll also have my video for the Thursday game. It's going to be amazing, y'all. I can't wait for NFL, but I love y'all. Y'all collect that bag for today. It's Melo DFS, and y'all stay blessed, and I'll see y'all in the next video.